Welcome back to the Verified Athletics Podcast. Before I introduce today's podcast, I wanted to bring your attention to a book called The Next One Up Mindset. I was inspired by my guest last podcast, Grant Parr, so I read his book and it's fantastic. Grant works with all sorts of athletes from high school to professional to Olympic, and he works with them to improve their mental performance. I promise you that if you read his book, you're going to learn a lot of skills that will improve your performance on and off the field. You can get it at Amazon.com, where it has 100% 5-star reviews, or at his website, GameFacePerformance.com. Today we have a quick episode where we check back in with Dylan Mabin. He's a rookie cornerback with the Oakland Raiders. In case you missed the last 2 times we spoke to Dylan, here's what you need to know. I recruited Dylan out of high school and he played for Fordham University for 4 years, where he was an all-conference player. After the draft this year, he was signed by the Raiders and he's been going through camp, trying to make the 53-man roster. So without further ado, here is Dylan Mabin. All right, Dylan Mabin, you're back. What's going on?
Not much, glad to be back. Glad you had me.
Yeah, so you have 3 preseason games down now, 1 to go. You guys got Seattle next, right?
Yes, sir.
So how's that been going so far? How's camp been? How's training with the Raiders going for you?
It's been going well so far. Definitely, I'm more comfortable and I feel more at home than I did in the spring during the early summer. Training camp is, just as you expect. It's hard, it's grinding, but ultimately I think, it's been good for us as a team and for me individually.
Yeah, so how's it going for you individually? I haven't had a chance to watch the games because I don't get the NFL Network or however it is that you watch them. So are you getting out on the field? Are you playing as much as you want to? What's that been like?
Yeah, we've had a few injuries and whatnot, so I've gotten some time. Special teams, defense, either way, when the starters aren't in. So this last preseason game, hopefully I get a lot of time, show what I can do.
Okay, so like how many snaps are you playing a game about?
It ranges, depends on who we're dressing that game. Like the first game, I was in as early as the end of the first quarter. And then some games I'm not in until the 4th. So, it really depends.
Do you feel like you have a good sense of what you're going to get before the game starts because you know who's sitting and you kind of have a plan, or you just kind of know when all of a sudden they call your name and you're going in?
I mean, the first game, it was a little shocking because I wasn't really, I was ready to go in, but one of our starters, who was playing got hurt. So I was the next man up. So that was kind of surprising, but generally we know who's playing, who's not playing. They usually tell you, all right, you'll probably get in second half, 4th quarter type thing. So usually I'm prepared.
And where does that communication come from? From your position coach? He's handing out the playing time in a way?
Yeah, position coach.
Gotcha. And then special team stuff is coming from the special teams coach. Is that pretty well known in advance? Are you playing? You're either in or out the whole game, or is it kind of I feel like with special teams it's such a nightmare to try to deal with the substitutions, but what's that? How's that set up?
The special teams here is actually set up really well, considering because we do it more just rotating. So there'll be a list of for example, gunners. We'll have a list of gunners and you'll be all right, you got the first 2, and then I'll tell you when to sub out. So it's kind of like a rotating basis, but they do a really good job of subbing. We haven't had any penalties for sub infractions or anything, so we're doing pretty good on that end.
And are you playing? You said you're playing gunner and you're playing the hawk or the guy that covers the gunner, and then you said you're doing some kickoff and kickoff return. Do you play multiple positions on kickoff return? Because a lot of them are pretty similar, or you just stick it with one.
It's kind of like in college, they tell you you're gonna play for example, a R1. They say you're gonna play R1, but be prepared to play R2, R3, L1, L2. You gotta be prepared to do all that because you never know what's gonna happen throughout the course of the game. So the more you know, the more chance you get going in.
Yeah, and have you been able to make any plays on special teams or on defense so far that stick out to you? Anything jump out to you so far from your NFL days?
My favorite play probably because one of the biggest questions about me, what they even told me was can you be physical? Can you come up and make a tackle? Can you do all that? And that was the real question mark. And in our first game, I actually came down and it was like a crack play. So I had to crack replace, and I came down and made a solid tackle, and that made me feel real good, to show that I'm improving in that aspect. they can trust me with that.
Yeah, and they probably don't get to see that in practice. Do you guys ever tackle in practice?
Not on purpose. Obviously some people are going to get tackled, it's football, but I think we've only had maybe one or two live periods, and those were like goal line periods, so the corners weren't even in. So it's not really.
Yeah, so you don't get a ton of opportunities, and so when you do get them in the game, you got to take advantage of them.
Got to.
Is there anything that you feel like's gone like so far, like in a way that you are disappointed or just hasn't been up to your expectations?
I guess the only thing, like during the second week, I kind of hurt my hamstring a little bit. It wasn't too bad, but I wasn't even disappointed. I was just kind of frustrated because it's like I was having a good camp. I got up to this like high point, and then it didn't like take me out or anything, but it kind of just slowed me down, and it was kind of nagging. It was just annoying. So that was probably the one thing I've been, I guess, disappointed in. But I'm coming back from that, so it'll be good.
Did you miss any practice periods or days or anything like that from it?
I missed the third week.
Oh, so you missed like a whole week,
like preseason game.
Oh, you missed the game. Okay. And but now you feel like you're ready to play again for Seattle?
Yeah, I'll be ready for Seattle.
And then when do you find out if you make the 53-man roster or not?
From my understanding, we play Seattle Thursday, and then Friday we're off, and then Saturday they're like, that's supposedly like D-Day, where they tell you if you're cut or if you made it and whatever. So I think that's August 31st, and then August 31st and September 1st are like the big days of waivers and all that.
Okay. And have you talked to your agent at all? Do you have any idea what to expect or what to be prepared for?
No, I mean, I've talked to my agent and we've been talking, but I mean, it's almost unpredictable, because it's not even sometimes it's not even whether they like you or not. They can literally love you, and then you could still get cut just because of numbers. So no matter how you're doing, you just got to roll with the punches and be prepared for anything.
Yeah. So do you know what happens on that Saturday? Like in terms of, like, did they just call you and they come in and if they call you means it's bad, or is if they call you, you don't know until you get there? Or I don't know how that stuff goes.
I'm actually not even sure either. From what I've heard, somebody like they'll see you in the facility and they'll be like, "Hey, coach wants to see you," something like that. There's a lot of rumors going around. I'm not really sure, but I'll be ready. Either way, I'll be ready.
Does it drive you crazy at all?
It would, but I've been around this kind of uncertainty before. I've had brothers and cousins go through it, so I know what to expect. I know it's unpredictable, and I'm prepared for it.
And how's it been as just like an experience to be on the team in this way, going through camp? Is it like, has it been memorable, or I don't know, does it stick out as something pretty special?
Oh yeah, it's extremely memorable. Just being a part of an NFL organization, let alone the Oakland Raiders, is something I'll forever cherish and something I'll tell my kids and grandkids from here on out. That was a blessing. I mean, Hard Knocks, dealing with them for a couple of weeks, that's been interesting and funny. So these are all things I'm going to be able to brag about for the rest of my life. So I'm loving it.
What's been funny about Hard Knocks?
Just how invasive they are. Like, no matter where you're at, or the only place you're basically safe is your room. And sometimes not even then. Sometimes the last to come in. But they're pretty invasive. It's pretty funny to me.
Yeah, I've seen a couple episodes I watched, and I seen you like sneaking around in the background. I feel like more than anything, I see like they're interviewing someone. I saw you like in the locker room, sitting at after the game. You were sitting at your locker, and they were interviewing someone like right in front of you.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be in the spotlight.
No, yeah, I feel like they put people in the spotlight usually when there's something bad going on. Although sometimes they got good stories.
Right, exactly.
So, have they like been following you around at all? Like you specifically? I guess you said they mic'd you up at least once, or they do that on occasion.
Yeah. I mean, I've been mic'd up probably 2 or 3 times. I'm pretty sure they mic a lot of people up. They haven't, obviously, as you've seen, they haven't like done a special thing on me or whatever. But at this point, hey, whatever they want to film, they can film it. Then either way, it don't matter to me.
So you played a few games. You guys went to Canada for your last game, right? You were playing against Packers.
The Winnipeg.
Yeah. What was that like?
That's the game I didn't go to.
Oh yeah,
because I was injured, so I didn't travel that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then you guys are traveling.
But I know just from talking to the players and stuff, it was a fiasco just because of the whole field incident and all that. They only played on 80 yards of the field and all that. It was hectic.
So, like, from a fan's perspective, I feel like that they don't take the preseason too seriously in terms of like caring whether or not the team wins or loses. Do the players have like? Is it feel similar to the players where it's more about like getting, learning, getting better, shaking out who's going to be doing what during the season, or does it feel like a winning or losing locker room at the end of the game based on what happened? I mean, you guys have only won, I think. So, does it feel like a winning locker room after the game, or does it just feel like almost like a practice?
No, it truly feels like a winning, it feels like a winning locker room. We haven't lost, so I can't really say how sad people would be if we did lose. Hopefully we don't experience that, but I know as far as winning, it's been memorable in the locker room.
And for me growing up, John Gruden was always such a legendary coach. Major part of my like football watching days. What's it been like playing for him and his staff, and him as a head coach? What has that been like?
It's truly been a blessing. I've had some great head coaches in my life, and he's now added to that list. I really didn't know what to expect coming in. Like everybody else, you have this like perception of John Gruden and how he's so crazy and wild, and he's really down to earth in reality. And he makes you feel special, and he cares about everyone out there. So it's really been a blessing playing for him.
Yeah, have you had any like personal like one-on-one interactions with him, or is that hard to come by because you're on defense? And I feel like he's more of an offensive guy.
Oh no, I've had a few. He usually makes fun of me for going to Fordham, like in the Bronx. He usually makes fun of me for that. But we've had a few conversations. It's been cool.
So what do you make fun of him about?
I usually don't make fun. I don't crack back. Not yet. I gotta earn that.
Yeah,
I gotta earn that.
You gotta make like a play on a Sunday first, and then you can start cracking back at him a little bit.
Yeah, then I'll be able to say something back. But until then, I'm gonna just say, hey, come visit Fordham. I'll show you how good it is.
That's right. Well, cool. Thanks so much for taking the time today. I know you guys are busy, and I know you're working hard. You're gonna try to check that Seattle game out and see how you guys are doing. Do you have any sense when you're gonna be playing, or is it too early to tell?
It's kind of early, but if I had to guess, it would probably be second, third quarter, and then from there on, however they want to rotate it. But probably then.
Well, sweet. Well, good luck, and we'll chat again soon.
Appreciate it.
All right, see you, Dylan. What an exciting spot Dylan's in. It's really interesting. It's got to take a ton of mental focus to succeed. He's both living his dream currently, and this is as close as he gets to making it to the NFL. It'll be an amazing experience. But at the same time, if he performs well and gets the right breaks, it's just the beginning, and the current experience will just be dwarfed by the ones that will follow in his NFL career. So it's both like a mix of enjoy and cherish the current moment, but at the same time, push to make it so it's just the beginning. Anyway, Dylan, we're rooting for you. Good luck against Seattle in your last preseason game, and this weekend when NFL teams make their cuts. But before I go, just one more quick reminder to go and get the Next One Up Mindset by Grant Parr on Amazon.com or GameFacePerformance.com. You won't regret it. Until next time, thanks for listening.